All right, loves. So today I'm doing a surplus affidavit. I'm going to hit the record button on my Zoom and I'm going to share my screen. Let's do a share screen. So one of the things, this one is an assignment of interest in surplus funds. So this agreement, it says, is between True Equity and an Arizona limited liability company referred to as the assignee, and I named her Vivian Doe, which is the man's daughter, claiming successor. She's the successor to his estate. His name is John Doe. So he's the deceased. This is the daughter. She's taking over for him. She's the successor. Okay. So True Equity is this one assigning it to her. So now it says here, conveyance, right? Assigner does hereby convey, transfer, and assign any and all rights, interests, and claims, including but not limited to all rights in surplus funds. So there's John Doe, his address. I of course knocked it out, blocked it out. But I left the state to show you, because if you are in a different state, then when you notarize, you're obviously not going to put the state where the property's at. You're going to put your state. And they missed, I don't know if they put an additional 7. They got the zip code wrong. So as we scroll here, it says, this is an important legal and binding document. Do not sign unless you completely understand it. And that's where it's important for you to swear them in. That's where you need to learn your 5 or 6 points. I say 6 points of contact to a perfect notarization. So one of the first, and I'm going to do a separate video for that on the 6 steps to a perfect notarization. But one of the steps is logging it in your notary book, right? So you want to identify the person, log it in your book, and then swear them in, right? So when they sign, they're swearing or affirming that this is true, that they understand what they're signing, and that no one is forcing them to sign it, right? Let's continue. So they're going to print their name, sign, date, and it says state of, you're going to put the state that you're notarizing in. County of, you're going to put the county where you're notarizing in. If it's not your commission county, as I said in a previous video, you're going to put acting in the county of, in that county. If it's your commission state, you just put the county. You don't have to put acting in the. On this, then you're going to date with the day, the month, the year. Personally appeared, Vivian Doe, which is the person I just signed. And then you're going to sign here, put in the state that you're in. I have a pre-stamped, because my seal, in Tennessee, they don't allow us to put our expiration date on our commission, but I do have a stamp that I could put it separately, so that way I can stamp it on there, and then you put your seal. And another thing that I do is right underneath where I have a little bit of room, usually where it says Notary Public, and it doesn't say that part, I'll write my name right under my signature. If not, I find where right underneath I can put my name, because my signature is strange and you cannot understand what it says. So I write my name there. Okay, so now we get to the affidavit of heirship. So again, like I told you before, affidavit means you're going to notarize it, right? So they're going to sign and you're going to notarize. So again, in the estate of, it was John Doe's estate. And marital history of John Doe, the address, the county, state, and then the name of the spouse, Miranda Doe. So the person, which is Vivian, would fill this out to the best of her ability as far as the dates of birth of all the people that are put here. They want to know the deceased adopted or natural born children, any grandchildren, whether they didn't have any children or grandchildren, deceased brothers or sisters, nieces and nephews, Then again, over here where it says sign this day of, you're gonna put the date, but the person who's gonna sign where it says affiant, the person that's gonna sign is a disinterested party. You as the notary cannot witness, because sometimes you can witness a document, but here in this case, because you have to notarize this document. And if you stay to the end, I have a little extra something for you, but you have to write it with me to the end. You know I don't make my videos long, so hang in there, we're almost done. But let me finish this part. So remember, you're going to notarize here, so you cannot be the witness and the notary. You can only be one or the other. So in this case, since you have to notarize the document, they would have to get a disinterested party, a neighbor, a friend, somebody else would have to sign that. And guess what? They have to go on the notary log as well, because they're signing this document. So you also have to get their information and log it in your notary log. And then you're going to go and put your information. Where it says notary seal, I wish they would have put it lower, because they would have left perfect space for the notary seal, but they don't think about that. I don't know why. I wish they would have dropped it lower, because then it would have left a perfect space to put your seal. But because it doesn't, then right there you would put C attached, and then you would attach at the very end, you would attach a jurat, which I uploaded to show you. So you would put a jurat, and then you would put the state and county. They don't have to sign that one, because you're just doing this to be able to fix your seal right there in that empty spot. You're going to put the date, the name of the signer number one. If there's more than one signer, you would put both of their names. But in this case, only the affiant, which is the disinterested witness, signed there. So there, you're going to put their name, and then you're going to sign and put any other required information, like your commission expiration date. You're going to write your name. So this is optional. So you could fill out this part if you desire. I usually don't, but it's totally up to you. Now, here's that. So it was a short document. It pays well. You only had to notarize and put your seal on 2 documents. The main thing is knowing who's going to sign where, right? So that's the important thing about the document, because sometimes you get happy because you think it's a small document, and then you're like, uh-oh, I don't know what to put here, because sometimes you get these weird, strange documents. But when in doubt, and if you can't get anybody to answer your question, join a lot of notary groups. Ask people questions, network with people, get to know them, ask questions, become friends with them, right? Notaries are usually very nice, and they're usually very helpful, unlike other careers, other than that they don't like to discuss fees. Some of them will, but the fee thing is a big problem with notaries. And I understand you can't do price fixing, but there should be a threshold, right? And that's where I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous, because if I'm charging $1 per notarization when I could be charging $5, and you could have told me that, you would have spared me time to, you know, and I could have made more money. So there has to be a threshold, like between this and that, right? They don't have to tell you exactly what to charge, but they could tell you a range. And so that kind of annoyed me when I was a new notary, but that's just part of the madness of being a notary. Another day I'm going to do the pros and cons of being a notary, because everybody's like, oh, you can make $100,000 as a notary. We'll talk about that in another video. I'm going to give you the real, okay? The pros and the cons. So thank you for sticking out to the end. So now I'm going to throw you this gem at the very end, just to kind of add a little more to your notary knowledge. So when you're closing a document, these companies send you this information for a reason. The reason they send is because a lot of notaries mess up these documents. So be sure that even when you already see the same documents, throw your eye at it to see if there's something that might have changed, something that was added. That's how I messed up in the beginning, that I wouldn't see that they wanted it in blue ink or in black ink, and I would sign it in the opposite. And one of those times I had to go drive back up a mountain that's hard to get up at late at night to go and sign the documents again in the correct ink. So spare yourself that. Don't make the same mistakes I made, and read the paperwork. Believe me, it's worth it. If you don't get to do anything else, try to read the instructions, at least breeze over them, okay? So right here, it says stop. Read carefully. They put it in bold and initial all of them because they want you to initial that you did that, right? Now, this particular one wants you to get the wire instructions, whether they want the money wired. There's a form where sometimes you staple the check. Sometimes they just have to write the account number and the routing number. But in this case, they want the wire instructions on top. What I usually do, I'll put their ID because I copy their ID, obviously. That's the first thing I put, and then I put this in that order, right? So they want the wire instructions. They want the quick claim deed, if there is one. If there isn't one, don't worry about it. But then after the quick claim deed, they want the deed, which is usually 11 to 15 pages long. Then the promissory note, and then the closing disclosure. So what I do is I put it back in the order, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, another gem that I added at the end for you. I put it on the order, and then once I leave, then I pull those out, right? Or I put them, paper clip them on top in that order, make them sign those first, and then I make them sign the rest of the paperwork. You find out what's more practical for you. So there's two options. So just browse and read through this, and then never drop FedEx. I know there's people who do it, to each his own. I always go to actual UPS or actual FedEx store where I could get a receipt with a tracking number. I do not like dropping it in the drop boxes. They don't like you doing it. And you want to be sure you handed it to somebody and got a receipt, and that you know. Just do your job right? That's what they're paying you for. You accepted the job. That's what they're asking you to do. Just follow the instructions. It's not a hard thing to do. And like the people at the FedEx know me, they always give me extra large packs and the little things where you stick the labels for the address. Again, I'm just giving you advice. I'm just showing you according to what works for me. You're going to go get in your flow and do what works for you, right? So again, they're giving you another sheet with a stacking order with a big red stop sign, right? Obviously, it's that important to them that they put it there twice. That ought to be a flag for you. Now, the last gem I'm going to give you, and then I let you go, is when I get the package, I go to Notary Rotary PDF page sorter. You put that on Google. I use that. I mark that as a favorite on my bar so that anytime I go, I just go straight there. I'll click search, look for the file, process, and then it's going to show you this. It's going to show you how many pages the package is, how many are letter count, and how many are legal. In this instance, they have 101 letter and 14 legal. So it tells you what order they're stacked in, right? I love that because then you know that you put, when you process it, then you're gonna this is what I do. I download the legal first, then I download the letter, and then I go to my PDF file and I download them, I upload them there. So, because I already downloaded them into my file on my downloads file. And then later I delete it when I'm done, that I'm sure they got the package. Then I delete it. But then I go to PDF and I upload it there to print it from there. So I don't print it from my regular printer. I print it through PDF. I'm sorry, Adobe Acrobat. I was calling it PDF. Adobe Acrobat. So as you can see, they have 7 letter, 1 legal, 1 letter, 1 legal, 6 letter, 1 legal, 20 letter, 1 legal. You see? So you're going to go put them back in that order until you got all 115 pages the way it came. Now that I've stacked it in order, now I can go take it out what I need. The FedEx slip doesn't need to be in there unless you want to leave it on top. I prepare my notary log so that they could just sign. And I put whether they chose to do a affirmation or an oath, and I let that be the very first thing I put at the top. Then I put the package in with the 2 options I gave you previously. So this is it flows smoothly, easily, and the more you get into the habit of it, it's going to become second nature to you, to where you're going to be able to have the flow. You have your cheat sheet till you start memorizing documents. Eventually you're going to be able to just point and, you know, explain the document and point. It becomes like second nature because you're going to explain it so many times that you're gonna have like no problem. So don't be afraid if you're new. Everybody starts somewhere. Nobody's better than you and nobody's smarter than you. The only thing is that they've been doing it longer than you, so they become experts at it, but you could become an expert too. We all are susceptible to learning something new. So don't ever let anybody discourage you or tell you not to ask for pricing. Ask people privately. Ask them what they charge. That's why I say network with people, because there will be people that will help you and will tell you privately. I've seen people get embarrassed by other people like, oh, we're not supposed to ask that in the groups. I'm like, you're so rude. They don't know that. You could have just messaged them privately and maybe answered them in a private message. But we have all kinds of flavors, you know, 31 flavors. Baskin Robbins. I'm flavor number 36. They haven't even come out with that flavor yet. So I hope this video helped you. Click like. If you haven't subscribed, you already know I'm going to ask you to subscribe, and I'll catch you next week. Hit that notification bell so you can catch my videos every Wednesday. I love you all. Stay beautiful, stay positive, stay encouraged. Until next time, catch you on this side. Bye, y'all.